Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, June 9th, 2017. The main story for today through the weekend continues to be the strong, warm, dry southwest winds in place over much of the southern Great Basin, particularly southern Nevada and into Utah, for today through Sunday. Behind these winds, a strong cold front will move through the Great Basin. The main area of low pressure continues to be centered over the Pacific Northwest, but some cooler temperatures and light precipitation did move into northwest Nevada and western Idaho yesterday. And the bulk of the lightning activity remains outside the Great Basin as well. Light fire activity remains steady across much of the Great Basin, with the biggest fire occurring yesterday over eastern Idaho. Observed precipitation for the past 7 and 14 days are shown here. The main takeaway being how dry it's been over Nevada and portions of western and southern Utah, with virtually no precipitation observed for the last 2 weeks. This has had an impact on current ERCs, where we're already beginning to see those ERCs climbing to the 70th to 80th percentiles across southern Nevada and southern Utah. The ERC charts are shown here for eastern Idaho on the top and central Nevada on the bottom. Extreme heat from the past 7 to 10 days has caused ERCs to rise somewhat dramatically and quickly, with values much above normal and above where we were this time last year. With the approaching cold front, however, these values should stabilize somewhat over the next week. Satellite imagery from this morning is showing that strong area of low pressure centered just off the northwest coast. The Great Basin is in between that area of low pressure to the north and west and the strong area of high pressure located just to the east. Due to our location between these two systems, very strong southwest winds are expected to continue today through tomorrow and even into Sunday across portions of the eastern Great Basin. This area of low pressure will eventually swing into the Great Basin early next week, Monday and Tuesday, for much cooler temperatures area-wide. Taking a closer look at the forecast for this afternoon, some relief in the way of cooler temperatures and higher relative humidities is expected across the north and even portions of far western and northwestern Nevada. Much of central and southern Great Basin, however, will remain quite warm and windy. Afternoon wind gusts are expected to be in the mid-40s for portions of far southern Nevada and western Utah. Any precipitation for today is expected to remain limited to the central Idaho mountains, where temperatures have decreased most significantly. Temperatures have come down across much of the area from yesterday's highs, with highs in the 70s over much of northern and central Nevada and highs in the 80s over northern Utah. On Saturday, that low continues to move inland, continuing to bring slightly cooler temperatures to western and northern portions of the area, although the cold front will be sort of stalled across the central Great Basin, keeping the strong southwest winds in place over much of western and southern Utah and southern Nevada. Again, any showers will be limited to the central Idaho mountains on Saturday, with temperatures cooling a few more degrees across the area. On Sunday, the cold front pushes further south and east, but still keeping strong prefrontal winds in place over central and eastern Utah, with gusts up to the upper 40s, possibly nearing 50 miles per hour over much of central and eastern Utah and southern Utah. We will begin to see that cold front really pushing through western Nevada, where the winds will switch to the west to northwest and bring cooler temperatures into that area. Some showers may accompany this area of low pressure moving into far western and northwest Nevada, with a pretty significant decrease in temperatures as well. Highs should only be in the low 60s across much of northern and central Nevada. 3-day precipitation accumulation is shown here, with only light precipitation accumulating over the central Idaho mountains and possibly over the far reaches of western and northern Nevada on Sunday. By Monday, the main area of low pressure finally passes over the Great Basin, bringing a dramatic drop in temperatures to eastern Nevada and Utah as the winds switch out of the north and west. Winds will still be fairly gusty on Monday, but they'll be cooler out of the north and west. Finally, by Tuesday, the winds will lighten as the area of low pressure lifts off to the northeast. Temperatures will still remain fairly cool for the time of year, but will begin to warm, especially as we move into Wednesday, with a moderate area of high pressure beginning to build quickly into the Great Basin. Winds will expected to be light again on Wednesday, and Thursday with some continued warming across the south, although westerly flows expected across the north with seasonal temperatures and possibly a chance of some showers. The 7-day precipitation accumulations are shown here, with the best chance continuing to be over the mountains of central Idaho and also moving into western Wyoming in the latter part of the period. The 8 to 14 day outlook is shown here, with a return of very warm temperatures expected, particularly over the southwest U.S., and below normal precipitation. So while we expect a pretty good reprieve late in the weekend and early into next week, by the middle of June we'll be right back into the hot and dry weather. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.